Part two. So they, um, at 7:38, Madeline Lillian came into the world. She weighed 7 pounds 11 ounces, and she was 20.5 inches long. And she has beautiful, beautiful. Well, it was at that time. It was very dark, and now it's starting to become lighter. So she's gonna have nice, beautiful blonde hair, just like the other two. She has blue eyes right now. Obviously, their eyes do change. But I've had people say to me, "Oh, all babies have blue eyes." No, they don't. Mikey had blue eyes that became brown at 7 months. At 6 months, tiny born brown eyes. Like her eyes are like mine. Mikey's are the light brown. Tiny's are like mine, the dark, dark brown. Where actually I've had people say to me, well, actually little kids have said that my eyes are black because I have the very dark, dark brown eyes. And she has blue eyes right now, so I'm wondering if she's going to end up with the light brown eyes. So, and then I was so upset to find out, as many of you guys know, my grandmother had passed away it was my senior year of high school. But she could knit and crochet, and so I can't knit and I can't crochet, but when I had Tiny at the hospital, same hospital I had her, instead of them putting that, like, the pink or blue hat that has the stripes on it, or like the white hat, this hospital, they put on knitted hats, which, was made from the nursing home. It kind of kept the women busy and everything like that. And of course, after I found that out, we bought a whole bunch of yarn and donated it to the nursing home that did it, because to me, it was like, I could look at it as like my grandmother made it. So I was very disappointed that the hospital had to stop doing it, because parents complained that, how do you know, there could be illnesses and things like that. And they're like, well, we do clean them, they steam clean them and things like that. They said before we put them on a baby. It's not. So it broke my heart, because if I had known that before, I would have probably gone on Etsy or had somebody on Facebook make one for her. I still might, just because I'm so upset. Very upset, because that's, my grandmother meant the world to me, and especially where this little one has her first name as her middle name, like I do. So, so they finished back to the labor and delivery. So they, Mike got to hold her while I got finished, stitched up, because they wouldn't let me hold her because my blood pressure really wasn't dropping, but it had gone down really low. And I personally didn't feel comfortable holding her with the help of the nurse, because Penny came back in, and she said, Janet, do you want to hold her? And I said, I don't feel well. And the anesthesiologist said, yeah, your blood pressure is a little low. He's like, I'm just keeping an eye on it. It's okay. He's like, we're just keeping an eye on it. So he said, so Dad, don't be alarmed if we tell you to just kind of get out of here. So that scared me. Really scared me. And so then they moved, they put me on the recovery bed, and they said, Janet, do you feel comfortable holding her now to do skin to skin? I said, yes. I said, I just didn't feel, because you're on that skinny little table. And so anyway, so they put her on me, and they wheeled us back to the room. And I'm going to insert a picture here. As my husband put it, that picture is what it looks like to hold a rainbow. To go through everything we did a year ago. Oh, a year and a half ago. Because actually I'm recording this, if we had had that first baby, would be turning 1 right now. So, anyways, So to be holding her and gone through, everything that we had gone through, with the pregnancy and the miscarriage, it was just to actually be holding a baby. It was beautiful. It was a very special moment for me. Within the first 10 minutes of me being in the room, maybe even less, she latched right on, which was, it made me feel very, good. So they kept, I had the little things on your legs that squeeze, and I hate them. They itch so bad. So every couple minutes I was trying to wiggle my feet. And of course I just kept, just holding her and everything like that and bonding with her. And then the kids came, because they recommend for the first 2 hours that it's only mommy and daddy in the room, because of the fact that, he just went through major surgery, just kind of take a deep breath. So, after the 2 hour mark, my parents came with the kids to see, see baby Madeline. Now I figured my son was going to be all ecstatic because he had been, very excited for baby Madeline to get here. He's warming up to her a little bit more now, but it was very interesting. But Tiny was beyond excited to meet her. She kept everybody that came into the room, the nurses, because they were there for about a half hour, so the nurses kept coming in and checking on us about every 5 minutes just to check to see how I was doing, how I was feeling. And I said, I feel good. But every time the nurse would come in or somebody else, because even the high-risk OB, because he was there for part of my C-section, wanted to come in and check on me. And of course, Tiny is there going, oh, that's my sissy. Oh, it's my baby sister. Madly in love with her. So they left. My aunt and uncle came that night to see us, and of course, I'm still feeding her on and off. And then I don't know if everybody's hospital does this, but they weigh them at night, so that way mom can catch about an hour to an hour and a half of sleep without baby being in the room. And they took her and weighed her. She went down to 6 pounds 15 ounces. So I then, of course, sent up huge red flags. I couldn't sleep. I was up, I think I slept for maybe an hour that day. Because I'm like, oh great, either I don't produce enough colostrum or something, I don't know. So I already knew that we were headed to I was terrified that we were headed to the same road that we did with the other two, that my milk takes forever to come in. So that morning, Saturday morning, the pediatrician came in and she's like, okay, well, there was some weight loss, but that's normal with C-section babies. I said, well, I know that. I said, she's like, so I understand that you're concerned about it. I said, I'm very concerned about it. I said, I said, I don't want to supplement right now, but I said, but, I have, I said, I'm going to send my husband home to go grab my breast pump. They're like, oh no, we have one here. So she's like, but we'll start tomorrow. And I said, no, what you don't understand is that my milk takes forever to come in. I don't know why it takes forever for my milk to come in, but it does. She's like, okay. She's like, I said, as soon as I then said my daughter had, as far as we know, she still has a diagnosis of failure to thrive. I said, and this is how I start off with all of my babies. All of them have started off the exact same way, where they lose, except for my son, he didn't lose any weight. I don't know why. Or maybe he did, because I don't think we ever asked. We never asked and they never told. So, yeah, that's true. I don't know. But the girls I did. And they, we were very concerned about their weight loss. I was very concerned about her weight loss. Very, very concerned. So they said, fine, we'll bring in a pump. They said, we normally don't do this until the second day. And even the nurse, my nurse that I had Saturday night was like, well, I don't even know why they have you pumping. And I said, well, because my colostrum. And she's like, yeah, but you can't really pump colostrum that well. I said, no, but that demand is going to help get my milk. And she's like, yeah, but your baby. I said, I just feel better with this. I really do. And then I told them, I said, I have an SNS system as well. I said, I went and bought one myself. And she's like, oh, well, we don't have any, the one that was trained to do it, Deb, that I love, she has the flu. So she couldn't do it. And the other one was not one that she's like, I don't really feel comfortable with you even using it here. And I'm like, that's $20 I spent of my own money because I was determined to make sure that, even if I had to use formula, that it would be the right way. So, I, breastfed her and then would pump. And they told us to do it every 2 hours. And I'm like, I do it every 2 hours. I'm going to end up so engorged by the time my milk comes inside. I'm going to be funny because I knew that I had 2 more days of colostrum. And my husband's like, well, I said, no. So I pumped every 3 hours. Just because it's what I felt more comfortable with. To help get my milk in. And then whatever I pumped, we would still give it to her by syringe. It was a tiny little syringe that they use it for twins instead of using the SNS, which has the tube. It's got a little, it's a little syringe type of thing, but it's funneled kind of like a J, so that way they put it in by the nipple, and they do it that way for moms that are, for twin moms. But they wouldn't do it with me because they just had one. So we had her suck on our finger and then do it, so that way, my husband did it, so that way, he got to do something. And then Saturday into Sunday, she went down to 613. And then at that time they said, okay, well now it's time to give her formula. The first nurse said, oh, we're going to do formula instead of breastfeeding. And I said, oh, no. We're still going to breastfeed. We'll supplement. And she's like, oh, give her like an ounce of formula and then put her to breast. And then, she wants more, then give her more formula. And I'm like, no. I'm going to give her formula after. So we did that. She went then, that was Sunday. Monday when I went to be released, they messed up somehow on telling us, her going home weight. They told us that it was 6 pounds, 0.5 ounces. Well, 7 pounds and then 0.5 ounces. So a half an ounce. And I went, okay. Then when we went to the pediatrician on, was it Wednesday? He did it out with the grams because he's like, I don't know, something doesn't sound right. And she came home at 6 pounds, 13 ounces. And at that appointment, no, I'm wrong, sorry. It came out to 6 pounds, 15 ounces. So she was, what she had lost that night before, she was back up. And when they weighed her, she was 7 pounds, 1 ounce. So he was very happy. He's like, is your milk in? I said, yeah, my milk finally came in on Monday afternoon. I could definitely tell when she was nursing. But that means that, I had colostrum, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and part of Monday. My milk does take forever to come in, and it's very frustrating for me. The nurses were a little ticked off with me. They actually had the social worker come in and talk to me because they were afraid that it was postpartum depression, that, I wasn't feeding my baby the right way. And, of course that wasn't true. So, but we're doing good breastfeeding.